Ideas have no material body, but they do have consciousness, and they most certainly have will. Ideas are driven by a single impulse, to be made manifest. And the only way an idea can be made manifest in our world is through collaboration with a human partner. It is only through a human's efforts that an idea can be escorted out of the ether and into the realm of the actual. Okay, so that's the first part. Any thoughts, comments?
No, it's good. Just keep going.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she goes on through several pages. Therefore, ideas spend eternity swirling around us, searching for available and willing human partners. I'm talking about all ideas here: artistic, scientific, industrial, commercial, ethical, religious, political. When an idea thinks it has found somebody, say you, who might be able to bring it into the world, the idea will pay you a visit. It will try to get your attention. Mostly you will not notice. This is likely because you're so consumed by your own dramas, anxieties, distractions, insecurities, and duties that you aren't receptive to inspiration. You might miss the signal because you're watching TV, or shopping, or brooding over how angry you are at somebody, or pondering millions and mistakes. Yes, babe, or just generally really busy. It's not going to work, babe. I tried different batteries. It's just, you got to get a new one, okay? Sorry. The idea will try to wave. You see, it's not going to work. My poor kid. It's not going to work, I'm telling you. The idea will try to wave you down, perhaps for a few moments, perhaps for a few months, perhaps even for a few years. But when it finally realizes that you're oblivious to its message, it will move on to someone else. But sometimes, rarely but magnificently, there comes a day when you're open and relaxed enough to actually receive something. Your defenses might slacken, and your anxieties might ease, and then magic can slip through. Izzy, please stop that right there, over there in the other room, because I'm trying to read something, hon. Okay, cool. Let's see where was I? Oh, magic can slip through, yeah. The idea, sensing your openness, will start to do its work on you. It will send the universal physical and emotional signal of inspiration. The chills up the arms, the hair standing up on the back of the neck, the nervous stomach, the buzzy thoughts, that feeling of falling into love or obsession. I know, commentary. I get those chills a lot when I've landed upon a really good idea. So I like that. The idea will organize coincidences and portents to tumble across your path to keep your interest keen. You will start to notice all sorts of signs pointing you toward the idea. Everything you see and touch and do will remind you of the idea. The idea will wake you up in the middle of the night and distract you from your everyday routine. It will not leave you alone until it has your fullest attention. And then, in a quiet moment, it will ask, "Do you want to work with me?" At this point, two options for how to respond. Okay, I don't know. I could keep going because she has a section that says, "What happens when you say no?" And then she has, "What happens when you say yes?" And then she has, anyway. Oops.
I love it so far. I wanted to hear the what happens if you say no portion.
Okay, cool. And I do love how it's like, we are so distracted. And we have to quiet our minds to be able to co-create with these ideas. I really love that. Yeah. Okay, this part is what happens when you say no. The simplest answer, of course, is to just say no. Then you're off the hook. The idea will eventually go away. Congratulations, you don't need to bother creating anything. To be clear, this is not always a dishonorable choice. True, you might sometimes decline inspiration's invitation out of laziness, angst, insecurity, or petulance. But other times you might need to say no to an idea because it is truly not the right moment, or because you're already engaged in a different project, or because you're certain that this particular idea has accidentally knocked on the wrong door. I have many times been approached approached by ideas that are no or not right for me, and I've politely said to them, I'm honored by your visitation, but I am not your girl. May I respectfully suggest that you call upon, say, Barbara King's lover. I always try to use my most gracious manners when sending an idea away. You don't want word getting around the universe that you're difficult to work with. That's funny. Yes, Izzy?
You didn't clean the table.
I know, I'm reading this out in a minute.
Let's keep reading.
She's like, why do you have to keep reading the boring book? It's not boring to me, hon. Sorry. Yes, it's fine. Whatever your response, though, do be sympathetic to the poor idea. Remember, all it wants is to be realized. It's trying its best. It seriously has to knock on every door it can, so you might have to say no. When you say no, nothing happens at all. Mostly, people say no. Most of their lives, most people just walk around day after day, say no, 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 no. Then again, someday you might just say yes. Okay, so there's that. So I could pause for comments or go on to what happens when you say yes.
Okay, go on to what happens when you say yes. And Fabian, do you want to say anything, Fabian?
No, I'm just chilling right now listening, man. Thank you. I'll chime in a little later. Thank you.
Okay, sweet. What happens when you say yes? If you do say yes to an idea, now it's showtime. Now your job becomes both simple and difficult. You have officially entered into a contract with inspiration, and you must try to see it through all the way to its impossible to predict outcome. You may set the terms for this contract however you like. In contemporary Western civilization, the most common creative contract still seems to be one of suffering. I know, so true. This is the contract that says, I shall destroy myself and everyone around me in an effort to bring forth my inspiration, and my martyrdom shall be the badge of my creative legitimacy. If you choose to enter into a contract of creative suffering, you should try to identify yourself as much as possible with the stereotype of the tormented artist. You will find no shortage of role models. To honor their example, follow these fundamental rules. Drink as much as you possibly can. Sabotage all your relationships. Wrestle so vehemently against yourself that you come up bloodied every time. Express constant dissatisfaction with your work. Jealously compete against your peers. Begrudge anybody else's victory. Proclaim yourself cursed by your talents. Attach your self-worth to external rewards. Be arrogant when you are successful, and self-pitying when you fail. Honor darkness above light. Die young. Blame creativity for having killed you. Does it work, this method? Yeah, sure. It works great till it kills you. So you can do it this way if you really want to. By all means, do not let me or anyone else ever take away your suffering if you're committed to it. But I'm not sure this route is especially productive, or that it will bring you or your loved ones enduring satisfaction and peace. I will concede that this method of creative living can be extremely glamorous, and it can make for an excellent biopic after you die. So if you prefer a short life of tragic glamour to a long life of rich satisfaction, knock yourself out. However, I always had the sense that the muse of the tormented artist, while the artist himself is throwing temper tantrums, is sitting quietly in a corner of the studio, buffing its fingernails, patiently waiting for the guy to calm down and sober up so everyone can get back to work. Because in the end, it's all about the work, isn't it? Or shouldn't it be? And maybe there's a different way to approach it. May I suggest one? Okay, so and then the next part is in a different way. So her suggestion. But I absolutely love that because I was very much the tortured artist that thought I can only create great poems in the depths of my misery. And it's like, with this book I just published last year, I was able to write poems about love and happiness and joy. Like, it wasn't all just suffering, you know? Okay, should I read a different way now? Okay.
We are our own worst critic when it comes to ideas. And getting started.
Yeah, exactly. And then how many artists do you know? Like, I'm like, oh, I respect this artist. Oh, he like committed suicide. Oh, this guy was a drunk. Oh, this guy cut his own ear off. Or it's like, wow, it's like really glamorized, right? Like she said, in Western civilization, this idea of suffering for your art. But yeah. There is more I could read. I mean, she talks about a different way, which I could summarize about going about it without being a tortured artist. Then she talks about an idea grows, and then an idea gets sidetracked. So she talks about, so basically her different way is about nourishing like healthy habits in which to practice your creativity, so that you're like, anyway, I could just read it if you want, or I could summarize it. But I do like one section which talks about an idea gets sidetracked. So she talks about times when an idea comes to her